What if you saw your own death before it happened and had the chance to escape? But what if escaping death came with a price? In this chilling story, one man's vision saves a group of people from a deadly bridge collapse. But fate isn't so easily cheated. One by one, they start dying in the exact order they were supposed to. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Film Decoded. In this video, I am going to recap one of the thriller mystery film story. Title, Final Destination 5. Before we get to the storyline, I'd like to everyone a happy and great day. Without wasting a time, let's begin the story. As the bus passed over the bridge, Sam was shocked to see a massive hole cut into the road for maintenance. Through the gap, he could see the deep ocean far below. The height made his head spin and his stomach drop. Only once the bus slowly rolled past the hole did Sam finally begin to relax. But the next second, the bus suddenly stopped due to traffic. He was thrown forward by the sudden brake and got cut by a sharp piece of metal sticking out from the seat. Just then, a strong gust of wind swept across the bridge, making the entire structure shake. The workers nearby didn't notice that the edge of the hole behind them had started to crack. The crack quickly spread in all directions. Steel cables snapped loudly under pressure, and metal rods beneath the bridge twisted and bent. Then, right in front of everyone's eyes, the bridge began to collapse. Sam grabbed his girlfriend Molly and ran. The rest of the passengers panicked and rushed off the bus. Candace jumped over the guardrail just before the section she was on gave way, but she couldn't escape in time. She fell with the concrete into the sea and was tragically impaled by the mast of a sailboat below. Peter, her boyfriend, froze in shock after witnessing her death. Sam had to pull him away before it was too late. Meanwhile, Isaac had just stepped out of the restroom. He was stunned by what he saw as the bus slid off the tilted bridge and plunged straight down. Isaac was thrown toward the windshield and fell into the ocean along with the bus. Sam and the others ran as fast as they could toward the edge, but the collapse was faster. The falling sections of the bridge blocked their escape. They had no choice but to crawl across a steel beam like a tightrope. Strong winds made the beam shake violently. Still, Molly carefully climbed across. But Olivia, while running, bumped into someone and dropped her glasses. Without them, she couldn't see and froze in fear. Sam turned back and helped her. He gently guided Olivia forward and even let her go first. Olivia crawled slowly, trembling all over. Just when she was about to make it, the bridge shook again and the steel beam bent under pressure. Olivia slipped and fell straight down. Luckily, she could swim and managed to stay afloat, but the next second, a car came crashing down from above and landed right on top of her in the water. Meanwhile, a snapped steel cable yanked up a metal pillar from the ground, sending it spinning through the air. It smashed Nathan to pieces as he ran. Steel cables around Sam also began to snap, and the bridge tilted even worse. As more and more cables tore apart, people lost their balance and slipped one by one. Dennis, the company boss, managed to grab onto a steel beam at the edge. A chunk of broken concrete tipped over a truck full of hot asphalt, and the burning liquid poured down, completely covering him in an instant. At that moment, Peter came running in. He leapt through the air and grabbed onto a railing sticking out. Sam also sprinted forward and jumped just as the collapsing bridge gave way. Just when they thought they were safe, the section they were on started tilting too. A truck beside them tipped over, causing heavy steel bars to slide down. Within seconds, they pierced right through Peter's body. Sam scrambled to climb up, but steel plate came crashing down the next moment, cutting him clean in half. When Sam came to, he realized he was still inside the bus. Suddenly, the bus hit the brakes, and he was cut by the same sharp piece of metal from earlier. It was exactly like the dream he had just experienced. He shouted that the bridge was going to collapse, then quickly pulled his girlfriend Molly and ran off the bus. Boss Dennis and a few coworkers, concerned, followed them. Moments later, massive cracks appeared on the bridge. Those who had gotten off early ran for their lives and escaped just in time before the bridge collapsed. Everyone else was swallowed by the sea. Sam's coworkers were stunned, and the police, equally shocked, interrogated him harshly. But they found nothing. The investigation later confirmed that the disaster was caused by strong winds and structural damage from ongoing construction. In the end, they had no choice but to let Sam go. After attending their coworker's funeral, a strange man suddenly called out to Sam and Peter. He claimed that death hated being cheated and warned them to be careful from now on. Sam looked thoughtful, but Peter just thought the man man was crazy. He didn't take it seriously and went to watch his girlfriend Candace at her gymnastics practice. Because the air conditioner in the gym was broken, they had to use fans to cool the place. No one noticed that a power cable had been stripped of its rubber covering. A maintenance worker started fixing the AC right behind the gymnasts. The pipes began shaking, and soon water from condensation started dripping along the seams. At that moment, Candace was on the balance beam performing her routine. She had no idea there was a puddle forming near the exposed wire. The shaking pipes worsened, and finally, a screw came loose and dropped straight onto the balance beam. Candace danced across, her feet landing dangerously close to the screw each time. Luckily, she didn't step on it. She finished her routine smoothly and hopped down. She walked to the side to wipe her sweat as water began slanting toward her foot. She casually tossed her towel on the ground, once again narrowly avoiding danger. Then she moved to the uneven bars for her next routine, unaware that one of the bar screws was slightly loose. Meanwhile, another girl stepped onto the balance beam. She flipped, twisted, and finally landed right on that same screw. Crying out in pain, she fell off, accidentally knocking over a bowl of chalk powder. The fan nearby blew the powder into the air. She lost her grip and crashed to the ground. Her limbs twisted horribly, and she died on the spot. After hearing the news, Sam rushed to the hospital to comfort others, but he accidentally spotted that same strange man watching them from afar. When he looked again, carefully, the man had vanished without a trace. Candace's death made the entire company feel even more gloomy. But Isaac, who loved taking advantage of situations, was actually thrilled. He opened the drawers of the deceased one by one, digging for valuables. In one drawer, he only found a massage therapy voucher. After work, he went straight to the spa to use it, but the old lady's massage strength was unbearable. She even twisted a screw loose from the table leg, then soaked a towel in alcohol, sterilized some needles, and gave Isaac a full-body acupuncture session. Once Isaac started to relax, she turned off the lights and stepped out. Suddenly, an eerie breeze blew into the room. The incense stick, already burning low, snapped and fell. Within moments, it ignited the alcohol-soaked towel beneath it. Isaac, unable to move, started screaming for help, but the room was too well soundproofed. No one heard him. He panicked and wriggled on the bed, causing another screw to fall out. The bed collapsed, slamming Isaac face first onto the floor. The alcohol barrel tipped over too, spilling liquid that quickly spread beneath him. That's when he finally woke up from a shock. He struggled to get up and painfully pulled the needles from his body. Just as he was about to leave, he heard a buzzing sound. A vibrating phone knocked over a candle. The flame instantly ignited the alcohol on the floor. Terrified, he backed into a wooden board and knocked it down. Luckily, the fire hadn't spread far. Isaac breathed a sigh of relief, but in the very next second, a loose board above gave way, and a heavy Buddha statue came crashing down on him. Meanwhile, police were still investigating Candace's death at the gym, but no matter how many times they tried, they couldn't recreate the scene. The remaining survivors rushed over after hearing about Isaac's death. Once again, Sam spotted that same strange man at the scene. Feeling suspicious, he marched over and confronted him. The man introduced himself as Bloodworth. He worked as a coroner, and since he dealt with the dead all the time, he had seen things like this before. He explained that survivors who escape disasters always end up dying later in freak accidents. Bloodworth believed there was only one way to cheat death. Someone else had to die in your place. Wait a minute, we kill someone, we get their life? Is that what you're telling me? Peter asked. Bloodworth quickly added, I don't make the rules. I'm just a cleanup guy. Everyone was shocked by what he said, but with so many coworkers dying one after another, they couldn't ignore his words. That's when Sam remembered something. In his dream, Molly didn't die. She survived and escaped. Peter grew furious when he heard this. Why did his girlfriend Candace die first, while Molly got to live till the end? Nathan stepped in and tried to calm Peter down, but the grief of losing Candace and the pressure of being next on the list had already pushed Peter toward madness. Still, they didn't have time to deal with him. They needed to warn the others. At that moment, Olivia had already arrived at the hospital to get laser eye surgery for her nearsightedness. The recent disaster still haunted her, and she was determined to ditch her glasses and finally see the world clearly. The doctor handed her a teddy bear to help her relax, then strapped her head in place and clamped her eyelids open. All the preparation made her incredibly nervous. She squeezed the teddy bear so hard that its eye popped off and fell to the ground. Right then, the doctor noticed some missing data and stepped out to grab the paperwork. Meanwhile, pressure in the water dispenser built up. Bubbles rose, and a nearby paper cup got knocked off, spilling water onto the wires. This shorted the cooling system. The laser machine's readings began to spike. That sharp buzzing sound made Olivia uneasy. She tried to reach the control panel, but accidentally knocked it down, causing it to hit the power switch. Without cooling, the laser turned on automatically and instantly burned her eye. Olivia struggled to break free. Just then, the next wave of laser beams fired again, slashing across her hand as she tried to block them. Sam and Molly finally arrived at the hospital. Olivia had just broken free from the head clamp. Blinded, she heard their voices and turned toward them, but in the very next second, she stepped on the teddy bear's loose eye, slipped, smashed through the glass, and fell straight out the window. After getting home, Sam carefully studied the deaths of his coworkers. To his shock, they had died in the exact same order as in his dream. And next on the list was Nathan. At that moment, Nathan was arguing with a worker. The next second, they noticed a tower crane moving toward them. Sparks were flying from the nearby power lines. Soon, the hook stopped right above their heads. Sensing danger, Nathan told the worker to get out of there. But the man thought Nathan wanted to fight, so he started pushing back. Just then, the giant hook suddenly broke loose and dropped. Nathan shoved the worker out of the way as hard as he could. The man fell straight down and was impaled through the chin by the hook, dying on the spot. Meanwhile, Peter found Dennis and told him everything about the death list and how to escape it. But Dennis thought Peter was insane. Peter didn't argue. He just walked away. When Peter heard what had happened, he rushed back to the workshop and saw Nathan standing there completely unharmed. Even though it seemed like a coincidence, Nathan admitted that he had accidentally caused the worker's death. Peter was thrilled. This confirmed what the coroner, Bloodworth, had said. If someone else dies in your place, you're skipped on death's list. Just then, Dennis arrived and asked what was going on. But before anyone could answer, a wrench flew out from the gear mechanism, spinning through the air and smashing straight into Dennis's head. Dennis's sudden death caused the entire company to shut down. Sam had no choice but to take a job working in a restaurant kitchen. He believed that if death really wanted him, he wouldn't be safe anywhere. All he could do now was stay alert and pay attention to the small details around him. Just as he thought that, a metal skewer from the roasting rack nearly stabbed him. After that scare, Sam worked extra carefully the rest of the day. Luckily, nothing happened, not even by closing time. That night, after the restaurant shut down, Sam and Molly celebrated surviving another day. But they had no idea that Agent Block had been secretly watching Sam, convinced he was hiding something. Suddenly, there was a knock at the restaurant door. They weren't scared because the person outside wasn't deaf. It was Peter. Judging by his tired, sunken face, Peter had clearly been under serious mental stress for days. He had been wondering, could he actually kill someone else so a stranger could die in his place? He had even approached a woman standing by the street, ready to push her in front of a truck. But when the truck passed, he didn't move because deep down, he wasn't a killer, just a man being driven mad by death. But now he had someone in mind. If all the survivors were doomed, why should Molly get to live? As soon as he pulled the trigger, Sam flipped the table and grabbed Molly, running straight into the kitchen. Agent Block heard the gunshot from outside and immediately called for backup. Meanwhile, Sam made a decision. He would distract Peter and told Molly to hide. After all, he was already on death's list. Even if Peter killed him, it wouldn't change anything. Just as Sam expected, Peter didn't shoot him directly. Instead, he fired a nearby gas pipe, then rushed forward and knocked Sam out. The force sent a kitchen knife spinning through the air, barely missing Sam and stabbing into the floor beside him. Molly was trembling in the corner, trying not to make a sound. Peter turned on all the kitchen burners and yelled that if she didn't come out, he'd help death finish off Sam right now. Terrified, Molly picked up a kitchen knife, determined to fight back. She kept her eyes locked on Peter as he stepped closer. But the figure who appeared next wasn't Peter, it was Agent Block. Molly shouted for help, but a second later, Peter fired from behind and shot Agent Block dead. Peter had finally succeeded. He had taken someone else's life and believed he had skipped his turn on death's list. But he wasn't done yet. Since Molly had witnessed everything, he couldn't let her live. She ran as fast as she could, with Peter chasing after her. Just then, Sam woke up and tackled Peter to the ground. Sam grabbed a frying pan and smacked the gun out of Peter's hand. Soon, Peter overpowered Sam and slammed him to the floor. Molly rushed in to help, but Peter threw her across the room. He picked up a kitchen knife, ready to end Molly's life. But in the very next second, a roasting skewer came down from above and pierced straight through Peter's body. Sam had saved Molly just in time. Just as they were catching their breath, the overheated gun suddenly discharged, but only shattered a nearby glass. This proved that by killing Peter, Sam had escaped death's list. 2 weeks later, Sam and Molly boarded a plane for a vacation. They noticed a group of students being kicked off the flight, which Sam found odd, but he ignored it. What he didn't realize was that they were on the doomed Flight 180. Moments later, Sam cut his finger again. Then he heard someone say one of the students had a terrifying vision of the plane crashing. Right after that, the wing outside burst into flames. An explosion ripped through the cabin. A hole opened beside them, and Molly was sucked out, torn in half by the plane's tail. Sam was caught in the blast and burned alive. The plane broke apart mid-air, its flaming landing gear plummeting toward the city below. At that very moment, Nathan was attending a memorial service for the dead worker. He had just learned a man had a brain tumor and would have died anyway. And as he stood there, Nathan quietly wondered, did that still count as cheating death? In the end, no matter how far they ran or how hard they tried, death proved it cannot be outrun. What began with a terrifying vision ended in flames, tying the story back to where it all began. Final Destination 5 closes the loop with a shocking twist that leaves you questioning, can anyone really escape fate? If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more movie explanations just like this, filled with suspense, twists, and mind-blowing endings, don't forget to like, comment your favorite death scene, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you never miss what Death is planned next.